Right guys, so it's part 5 of the ramen series. So let's have a little recap, eh? So this guy has now been on 2 hours, 24 hours, day 3. A bit of farting about. I didn't think it would take this much effort and this much time. Flipping takes forever to make ramen. So what we've learned is ramen is actually really hard work. It's full of loads of techniques and it takes a really long time to absolutely get that killer ramen. And how do we get that flavour with less time? So what we need is a hack ramen, something that's only going to take a couple of hours. Now, the reason why that tonkotsu pork ramen soup tasted so flipping good is because we used pork bones. Now, this is a pork trotter. It's rammed full of flavour. It's got fat in there, it's got the collagen, and what happens is because we boiled it, then that means that those flavours, particularly the fat, emulsifies in the water and develops this beautiful, thick, creamy soup. But it takes too long. So, what other bones do I use? Beef bones? Oh, beef bones. I dream about beef bones. They are an absolute thing of beauty. Like, this is just such a majestic sight to me. I know all the amazing things that can happen with that, but they're bigger than pork bones, which means that, unfortunately, they're gonna take longer to cook. I'm taking it easier today. I need to go to chicken bones. So I've been to my butcher, I've got some chicken carcass, some chicken bones, that's the legs. Most importantly, I've got some chicken skin and I've left the skin on various other elements. I've got a whole chicken which I'm going to cut down. Again, I'm going to use those bones into the stock, but I'm going to use the breasts for another dish, but the legs I'm going to use for the meat like I did with the pork that's going to sit on the top of the ramen. But the key hack here, the key thing that's going to give the flavour that I'm obsessed about not missing, and the way that I'm going to get that depth of flavour with that fatty element is I'm going to use the chicken wings. They've got the skin on them that's going to have lots of fat in there. They've got lots of meat on there that's going to give lots of depth. In fact, any time that you want to get real depth of flavour into any chicken soup or chicken stock, be that a classic French one or this ramen one, chicken wings are the master plan. So all those elements together with a few vegetables into the stock pot, and only 2 hours later, I'm gonna have a really deep chicken soup. It's gonna blow your minds. Now, just like the pork bones, we need to give them a wash. I didn't get marigolds this time. I got food prep gloves. And that takes us to about 2 kilos of bones. And so for that, we want about 6 litres of water. Right, I'm gonna power that up, and then I'm gonna get the vegetables, and they're gonna go in straight away. So the vegetables that I'm going to use to season this chicken soup are going to be the apple. It's going to give a nice sweetness. So will the carrot. I've made sure that I've peeled that. I'm going to use the shallot. I'm not going to colour any of these because I don't want to affect the colour of the stock. And it's going to have enough flavour from the chicken. And then the aromatics that I'm going to put in there, I'm going to put some garlic and some ginger. And the most important thing is I'm going to pulverise those. I'm going to batter them so they bleed out their deliciousness. Let's get those in. Okay, so I'm going to bring that up to the boil. I'm going to boil it vigorously for a couple of hours and then that should be ready. Next up, what we need to do is I need to show you how to turn the chicken leg into the meat that we're going to poach in the stock. Take off these legs and then I'm going to debone them and then I'm going to stuff one inside the other and that will form my beautiful meat that I'm going to poach in the chicken stock and then have nice thin slices on top of the ramen. I know, I'm a genius. get enough string to go all the way round, and then what you're doing is that you're just tying a butcher's knot. Pull the chicken together. I'm just going to slice that off now. That string has pulled all that chicken together, and now I'm going to take the string and tie it underneath and do it 3 times so it pulls it together on the top, and then you've got a compacted piece of chicken that when you poach it in the stock it will all hold together, and then you get these beautiful slices of moist chicken to go on top of your ramen. I'm salivating. Okay, so the stock's done. It's been cooking for about 2 hours. I put the chicken in and poached it only for about 25 to 30 minutes, and that's chilling out in the fridge. So let's pass it and see what we've got.
Just so you know, it's really tricky doing this when it's just you.
I can see that there's a layer of fat there. It looks good, it looks good. What is the flavour after 2 hours? Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
So the reason we pass it through the cloth is to make sure we get as many impurities as we can.
In the ramen series?
Yes, meat food busker, of course.
We're just steaming, we as in me.
Do you have bacon?
See you later guys. Thanks for popping by. See ya. Chicken. I can't tell you how excited I am by this. Like, it's got a glisten to it. You can see the moisture that's still present outside of the chicken, let alone what's going to be inside. They're nice and firm to the touch, but they're glistening with all that beautiful chicken soup that's been around it and kept it moist. I'm going to take the cocktail sticks out, I'm going to cut off the string, and let's slice it and see what we've got. Right, that's great. You can just see how moist it still is. When it's been heated through, that will be delicious.
Right, time to sort the toppings out, but first, how to make a dashi in no time at all.
Okay, so this is the hack ramen, right? So what I've done is I've used those tea bags, the dashi tea bags, to make my dashi. Now let's just try that. Remember, the dashi is a stock made from kombu and bonito flakes. Oh wow, that is so good. Like, I used 2 tea bags to really make sure I got punch, but that, whoa, that's such a great way to make a dashi. Okay, then I need to add some soy to the party and some salt, because this is the salty element of the dish. And so we're just going to put that in, mix that around. Now that should be quite salty, have a good kick to it. Woo! That one's got a kick. They look. Okay, so that's the chicken dough. Okay, chicken ramen. 2 hours. Oh, the chicken. Oh, the chicken is so good. That was a massive success. It's got such a depth of flavour. I think the thing that you've got to consider is that it took 58 hours less than the pork ramen, and you balance up taste against time put in. The chicken ramen, it's the one you're gonna make. That one is so good. So I'm almost at the end of my ramen journey.
You know, as I think back and I reflect on what we've achieved together, I feel really honoured that I'm in a position to be able to dig into ramen in the way that I have and the way that I've learned about ramen. Like, I'm just so grateful that I get to do this. So thank you for all your subscriptions and your support. And so if you're liking this vid and this series, then please subscribe to the channel and share it so other people can find out about how obsessive and thoughtful ramen is.
And I'm going to show you how to make this bad boy next week.